Apparently, several offers are on the table for Baltimore Orioles third baseman Manny Machado. Teams in the mix include the St. Louis Cardinals, Chicago White Sox, New York Yankees, San Francisco Giants, and our very own Philadelphia Phillies. We're going to talk about Manny Machado. We're going to talk about what Phillies are up to at the winter meetings, who have they acquired, all that. Kyle Gaffner is here. I am Adrian Fedque. By God, it's been a long time since we've done a Phillies show.
Yes, it has. I mean, they've kind of slumped out. They're the teams that kind of towards the bottom. We got the Eagles really cooking. We got the Sixers that are doing really well. They're starting to pick it up a little bit again. But it's the winter meetings, one of the hottest times for baseball, and an exciting, especially when we have an up and coming team like the Phillies.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt about the Carson Wentz injury this week.
Good God, I think it was worse than that. It's kind of taking like a drill bit and kind of drilling it into your temples, bro. Just horrible. It's horrible. So depressing.
All right, anyway, let's get into Manny Machado and this situation. So if you trade for him, you got 1 year on his deal. And that's the thing that I'm a little bit worried about trading for him. I mean, if you trade for this guy, you better make sure that you extend him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to lock him up. You don't want to give away your farm and have him only play here for a year and leave. It's kind of a situation with Paul George. When Indiana gave him up, you're not sure if he's going to stick with Oklahoma City or run off. Other thing is, too, here's a big question. He doesn't want to play third base anymore. He wants to convert and go over to shortstop. That has been made very apparent to him in his decision. So I think that's going to play a big part to which team he goes to and if they're going to really convert him. And if you look at the Philly situation, we've got Crawford. They're not going to convert Crawford and go over to third base and stick Manny Machado over there. If he's going to come here, he's going to be playing third base, which he doesn't want to do. So that's going to play a big factor, and that's something to watch. And we saw the drama go down with Mike Stanton and all that. I think we're going to be seeing another soap opera here with Manny Machado. Get the popcorn ready.
According to Dan Clark, apparently he's an Orioles writer. So this is a tweet of his. Phillies believe their offer for Machado is not strong enough to make a trade happen. Orioles want Sixto Sanchez, 19-year-old pitcher, electric stuff he has. And you know what? If I'm the Phillies, I don't want to give him up either.
No, I'm not willing to give up Sixto. There's a couple untouchables in our farm system. It's Sixto, Colome, and the young kid, Moniak. You know, other than those three, you can kind of wheel and deal, but those three have to stay as our young core. We don't really have any pitchers per se, really in the up and coming in AAA or really even AA. They're all downstairs there in single A, and those are going to be our core pieces moving up, with Nola being our centerpiece, still holding it up for the young kids when they do finally make it up here.
Yeah. Now, at the end of the day, I might be against the grain here because I know a lot of Phillies fans probably want Machado, but I don't want to give up all these prospects for him to just leave in a year and go sign elsewhere. I don't think it's worth it. I would just go elsewhere at this point. But it seems like the Phillies aren't trying to do anything crazy either, according to that report. I mean, they're not willing to give up a Sixto Sanchez. So it seems like the Phillies don't really want to give up too much either.
And I don't think it's not like we really have to worry like when we had Ruben Amaro back there. I think he would have pulled the trigger on getting a big name guy like Machado to get people in the seats and really further the organization. But with Klentak and now with Gabe Kapler, I definitely think they're thinking more analytical. They're not going to just throw a bunch of prospects away and the young core to just get a guy here for possibly a year. But,
yeah,
you know, your thought could be, too, if he is only going to play for a year, we don't have to give up major prospects. Look what the Yankees did with Stanton. They didn't give up anything to acquire him.
Yeah, that could be a possibility. And obviously my thoughts would change. If you don't have to give up too much, sure, bring him in. Bring him in.
And pitching's a premium, wouldn't you say? It's hard to find a stud pitcher. You can always find guys that can hit, guys that can field, but there's a premium on pitching, especially nowadays. And if you got a young guy like Sixto Sanchez who could be the top-end starter, you don't get rid of somebody like that.
Now, if the Phillies were able to work out an extension and they had to give up Sixto, would you do it?
Oh,
Now we're getting into okay. I might, yes.
they could be a possibility. Just because we also have Kilome down there too, who's also a young guy, power arm. So it's hard to find a talent like Manny Machado, a guy that got that type of power. And we haven't had a really, really stud third baseman since Mike Schmidt, I could say. We got to have power bats in this lineup, which we've been lacking. We haven't been able to put up runs for the past 5-6 seasons, not like we used to when we throw up crooked numbers with the Howards, the Utleys, the Jimmy Rollins. We need a power bat in this lineup to go along with Rhys Hoskins.
Yeah. All right, so moving on from the Machado news, let's get into this. So something that Matt Klentak has said, he wants to improve the Phillies' run prevention. So what that means, it doesn't necessarily have to be starting pitchers. It can be relievers. It can be defense. And the area that they have attacked so far is the bullpen. So they brought back Pat Neshek. They've signed Tommy Hunter. So, and then apparently we signed Addison Reed, then we didn't. But Pat Neshek, Tommy Hunter are Phillies. Thoughts on those two moves?
I liked Pat Neshek when he was here, and I thought it was a brilliant move because we got him for some prospects. You don't know if they're really going to pan out. And pitching is a premium, like I said, especially at the back end. We've seen Kansas City win a championship, more or less. The Astros shored up the end of their bullpen with pitching, too. You need it in this day and age because
it's a trend right now to get bullpen now. It's a trend.
It is because starters aren't going as long. They're not eating up. Their careers are shortened. Look what happened to Halladay. Look at Big Game James Shields. Those guys go 200. You see David Price. It starts to wear and tear on you guys, and I think you're going to start to see it with Clayton Kershaw. So you have a guy go 5 innings and then rely on your bullpen. So it's definitely a premium, especially to have a guy like Pat Neshek, who's like a side armor. I love a guy that can pitch like that. He loved, being here last year, and he was one of our best pitchers before we traded him to the Rockies.
Yeah, and Klentak said during an interview, he's like, we want to bring in an effective guy in the 6th inning. If our starter has thrown 100 pitches, he's kind of laboring. We want to have a guy that can come in and be effective in the 6th inning, and that's something that the Phillies haven't been able to do recently. And
he can go more than 1 inning. We see him 2 innings. He could close games for you, so you could use him in a variety of ways.
Yeah. All right, so we've cleared that up. Now, they are still apparently looking for a starter. That's from what I've heard. And they want to get a guy, apparently, trade for a guy, apparently, with years of under control. So the names that I've heard, Garrett Cole, Michael Fulmer from Detroit, and one more that I'm forgetting about right now. But what are your thoughts on that? Would you want to trade for a young pitcher under a couple years of control? Chris Archer was the other one.
I would love to have any 3 of those guys.
I agree.
Because, again, having them under arbitration or under team control, especially not at a very expensive price, would be great to have. Because Nola has shown that he has the ability to be a top-end starter. But after that, who do we really have? You got the Jared Eichhoffs. You've got the Jake Thompsons. But they're not really blowing your mind. They're the average stuff. And they've had injury history before. Much has Aaron Nola. So you get a guy that could go in there if Aaron Nola goes out, like a Garrett Cole, who's got some nasty stuff. Power arms. The same with Michael Fulmer. The guy can just throw straight heat. Just nasty, nasty stuff. Something that Aaron Nola doesn't have. Because he's more of a guy that's going to paint the corners.
Yeah.
Control the zones. So you can go get some power arms, which we don't have because they're 19 years old. It's going to be a little bit before they make their majors debut. So we have so many outfielders that I think we could make a trade to get a Garrett Cole or a Michael Fulmer or what have you, because those teams are really rebuilding. Pittsburgh, Detroit, and Tampa Bay. And we have plenty of pieces at our disposal. You're not going to keep everybody. So why not go out and get a top-end pitcher?
Yeah. And you look at some of the statistics last year among the starters, 4.80 ERA. They were 6th in home runs allowed at 150. So it was not a good season from the starters.
Horrible. And it really waned on our bullpen, even though they really did pick it up. After we traded Nishak, you had the guys like the oh God, his name's slipping me. You had the Benoit's that was okay.
Yeah.
Not Hernandez. God, it's been a minute. It's one of those names. I cannot think of his name right now. But they really did pick it up. Hector Neris was so, but if you can get a guy that can go 7 to 8 innings and then just bridge the gap to go, say who's going to be our closer then too? Is it going to be a Nishak? You saw what happened to Ken Giles in the World Series. Pitching is just such at a premium, but you do want to have guys that can go long innings too. But Chris Archer, if we can somehow get him, this guy has nasty stuff. He only has a power arm, but he's got some nasty sliders and curveballs. So he, out of all those guys, I would really want, other than Fulmer and Garrett Cole, because I think they're going to want a little too much.
Yeah. All right. So kind of going back to Machado, but also staying on this topic with the players being under control. So this is a quote from Klentak. He goes, "It obviously becomes more attractive to us if a player is under control for future years, plural. If it's a 1-year contract before free agency, it's less attractive. Doesn't mean we wouldn't do it. I realize these are less notable players than what you're suggesting, but we've done that with some bullpen and starting pitcher additions the past couple of years to acquire a player on a 1-year deal. It really depends on what the return is, what we have to give up in exchange for that player, whether that makes sense to acquire a player on a short-term contract. The years of control matter." So going back to Manny, what that tells me is that that's the reason why they don't want to give up too many prospects. It's that whole 1-year thing.
Yeah, that's going to scare anybody away. Why do you want to give up premium players where you can acquire like the Archers, the Fulmers, or the Coles, and you're going to put all your eggs in one basket to get Machado and he could just walk the next year?
Yeah.
And think about his money situation too. Say he does stay, he's going to want a ton of bread, a lot of clams to stay here. So you got to look at the free agency class in the future as well. But I think that's where Klentak and then Gabe Kapler with their analytics background are going to be able to manage and make the right decision to maybe go after a Bryce Harper, Mike Trout, so on and so forth.
Yeah. All right. So 2 other guys that the Eagles, see? We're not even thinking Phillies. That the Phillies are dangling. Freddie Galvis, Cesar Hernandez. So apparently they're looking for pitchers for these 2 players. I don't know how much you could get for Galvis or Hernandez, but if they can pluck a pitcher from somewhere, that'd be great.
That'd be phenomenal. You're not going to get – you may get a 4th or 5th starter in your rotation. You're not getting a top-end guy or maybe like a middle reliever, maybe a 6th or 7th inning guy. But they're nothing that's going to like blow you away. You're not going to acquire a stud closer, which I think we still need. I don't think Hector Neris has got the stones for it. But those guys don't really have too much trade value. Cesar is definitely a starter in this league, but Freddie Galvis is nothing more than a bench player. So they're not really sexy guys that are going to be blowing up the Phillies phones to acquire.
Yeah. All right, one more name that I'm curious about before we kind of depart here. So obviously the Marlins are having a fire sale right now. And I know the Phillies have always been interested in Christian Yelich. Would you possibly want to go after him?
Man, yes, I would, just because of his ability to get on base. His ability to really work the zones, work the counts. He doesn't strike out a lot. He's got a cannon out there, can play all 3 outfield positions. So, yeah, I would like to acquire Yelich, but when I was reading an article with the Marlins, he's going to be at a higher premium than Marcell Ozuna. The only thing I got a problem with him, he doesn't hit for much power. So I want a guy that's really going to knock balls into the seats. Yelich, we have a guy, actually 2 guys that we've drafted, a Mickey Moniak and a Hensley, if you recall our past draft pick from this year, are in the mold of a Christian Yelich. So are they proven players yet? No, they're still too young. But I have faith in Hensley because he played some college ball. that he's going to be able to have the same ability Christian Yelich. So I'm not actually going to go after a Christian Yelich because what I had read, they want at least 3 top prospects to get him.
Yeah, well, they didn't give up much. Well, they didn't get much for Stanton, so.
Well, that's because Jeter still works for the Yankees. Don't tell me that had nothing to do with it. That was some fishy stuff that went down there.
You love your conspiracies.
I really do. I really, really do. But it's like, is it because they ate so much money? They had all them top prospects that they got from Cleveland. They like a Clint Frazier couldn't have been in that deal. A Gleyber Torres. Kind of makes me scratch and think, bro. They're rebuilding, but you have your biggest trade chip and you give them away for peanuts? Come on. Come on, Adrian. What is going on? It's bad for baseball, bro.
Yeah, and I brought up Yelich too because obviously the Phillies have a lot of young outfielders in their farm system. So would you really want to bring in a Yelich if you have all that future? But I do know that Yelich, that's the perfect player that they want. I mean, that's the kind of players that they want. So yeah. Analytics, bitches.
I would honestly rather go after Marcell Ozuna just because I think he's just as good, if not better, than Christian Yelich. Okay. He's not going to hit for average, but he's going to hit for power, and he's got a gun out there. He can play left or right, and we need power hitters in this lineup. We just do. We don't seem to play small ball like the Cardinals.
All right, that's about it, man. Maybe I'll pull up the comments, see if we actually have anything. Let's see. I'm sure. I bet you $100 Sean Fitzpatrick is watching the show.
For sure, he's definitely into baseball or baseball stuff. But I'll ask you a question. Pose this question.
Okay.
We touched on Fulmer and Cole and Archer. Now, would you be opposed to just surpassing those guys and getting a guy like Yu Darvish, or going after a veteran pitcher like who was the other guy? Archuleta?
I don't want any older guys because a guy like Darvish or like a guy like Arrieta, we're not ready to win right now.
Mm-hmm.
So like a guy like Arrieta, he's already 32 years old,
mm-hmm.
and you're going to sign him to what, $200 million? And what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
You're not ready to win right now. So I know where you're going with this.
Mm-hmm. All right, good. Kind of like the move the Cubs did with John Lester. I think he was 32 when they signed him, gave him a ton of money, but they were kind of in the same situation as the Chicago Cubs with having a lot of young talent, and they asked Clentak that. Do you see you have all these position players, but are you going to be able to move them all around the field without trading them all? What are you going to do with all of them? Are you going to be able to maintain them? And if you look at it, the Cubs really didn't give up a lot of their young prospects. They made it work. They're all very versatile. They can play center. They can play catcher. I mean, Kyle Schwarber's out there too. Would you like to make a move on him?
Maybe.
The guy really hasn't even really hit that well. I mean, his first burst onto the scene, he hit like 35 home runs and was a stud. And then after that, he got hurt. He was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
But
all right. I got some questions from Sean. I told you he'd be on here. Fucking. What veteran are they signing for their bench? Oh my God. Thanks for that question. We can't even think of that one right now.
Man, a position player to go after? Yeah, man. I'd have to look at the free agent. Man, you're hitting me with a stumper. I'd have to look at the free agency to see what bets are even out there.
Power arms for the pen. I want starters that work quick, throw strikes, and pitch to contact. Interested to see Thomas Eshelman.
Yeah, Eshelman is a guy that's going to paint the corners, work the zones, much like Aaron Nola does. In college, he walked, I think, only 10 guys throughout his whole career, his 4-year career. So the guy really knows how to work the zones. He's awesome. And he seems to be the real prize piece out of that Astros trade, as opposed to Vincent Velasquez. And how much longer do we give the Vincent Velasquez, the Jake Thompsons, the oh God, what the heck's his name? The cat that we.
The more and more I watch Velasquez pitch, the more and more I want him in the bullpen.
Yeah, I think he actually might be better suited to be a closer. I think
He might be our closer. Yeah.
I don't see him being a starter. If he's shown what he has the past few seasons, we can't really blame it on injuries anymore. I just feel like that's a crutch, and we're just bailing him out by saying that. He's just too erratic.
I mean, your normal inning, you want to be less than, 15 pitches? And he's constantly 3-ball counts. It's like, ugh.
Too inconsistent. And it's crazy because
4 innings, it's like you're at 100 pitches.
Which is, you don't want that. But you'll see him where he'll have an inning where he mows guys down. He looks like he's finally grasped the concept of control.
Yeah.
And then it's just like opposite, Jekyll and Hyde between innings. You can't have that. But that's up to Gabe Kapler to make that decision.
True. Sean wrote down Jason Worth for the bench guy.
Oh, God, no. No, I'm done with Worth.
Not worth it.
He's not worth it. Nope. He can go back to freaking Washington. No, thank you.
So funny. We hate Jason Worth here in Philadelphia now.
I'm sorry. After his comments on bashing Philly fans and stuff, I'm done. I'm done with that fool. I didn't care that he left. I mean, all more power to you to get paid. He deserved it. But after making comments about Philly fans and how Philadelphia was, no. I'm sorry. You don't do that. You're beat.
He also wants Danny Duffy because he's a lefty starter, and he thinks.
From KC, right?
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah, I like him.
I liked it when Charlie was here and we had all those lefties.
Yeah.
All the lefty starters, because you don't really see a lot of southpaw guys, and that's all we have were southpaw guys.
Yeah. Clifton, Cole. Good Cole.
Yep. Clifton, Cole.
I just like calling him Clifton.
Good old. I'd like to see him come back and pitch. Be a pitching coach, I mean, not actually pitch in a game, but be a pitching coach.
Okay.
He had some electric stuff. But as a bench guy, Sean, we remember when we used to have what was his name? He was a shortstop and he pitched that one inning when we went 19. Valdez. We need players like that. That could go out there, pitch, play the outfield, shortstop, had a gun. I was a big fan of him.
Play all the positions, baby.
Play all them positions. We've never really had a strong bench, if you think about it. Even with all those years we won the NL East, our bench wasn't anything.
We had what? The one year I thought that when they had like Jeff Jenkins and Stairs, when they won it all, I thought their bench was good.
It was all right. Stairs just reminded me of some drunkard that just woke up on the side of the road each day. He pounded three bottles of vodka, just got done beating his wife and just stepped up to the plate and was just staggering there and smacked the ball out. He just looked like
just like the 1993 Phillies used to do.
Yes! Macho Row, wasn't that their nickname?
Oh yeah, Macho Row. Oh yeah.
All the mullets.
Yeah, all the mullets, all the manliness, a lot of manliness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Fucking fuck Joe Carter.
Scumbag.
Yeah. All right. That's about it, man. We weren't going to do too long of a show. I wanted to get Tony on the show, but fortunately he wasn't available tonight. So maybe we'll do a Philly show next week. Maybe.
Yeah, we can
do another one next week.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. And we got to do a Sixers show. I've been so swamped with Eagles stuff this year. Sorry, Tony. Or Kyle.
No, you're good, man. I mean,
Kyle.
Football season is upon us. We're deep into almost a playoff hunt right now. We're playing for home field advantage. It's football season right now.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Well,
we're so early in basketball.
Well, guys that are watching this right now, do watch Kyle's videos on the Sixers. They're doing a lot of the recaps. So, unfortunately, I just haven't had time to do shows with you. So,
I'll be doing one down at the center tomorrow.
Yeah.
Before game time.
I also wanted to use Dave too, but we've only done one show because the Eagles have taken up all my time.
They've been fantastic. They've been a huge surprise.
That's all people want to talk about right now. So
that's true.
It's better to have 2,000 views than say 500 because no one cares about the Sixers right now.
No, they don't. It's too early in the season for the Sixers.
Yeah, once football's over, they'll get interested. But Right now, everyone's all on the Eagles' jock.
For sure, 100%. And what they're going to do without Carson Wentz. I know. It's horrible.
My heart this week. My heart.
Dropped. Gone. Done. And I had a feeling it was going to happen with him scrambling all the time. You know, it was just bound to happen because he looked for contact. You saw him in college. You saw him his first year. He initiated contact. He was looking for that crap.
Well, this was a non-contact injury, apparently.
Yeah, so they say. I mean, and it just shows you how much of a beast he is that he played 4 or 5 plays on a torn ACL. Awesome.
I just can't. I can't.
All right, man, we got Nick Foles, right? He's going to lead us to the promised land.
Oh, boy. Well, I've had a lot of delusional Eagles fans this week.
They're still high off of what the team – I don't think they realize how much Carson Wentz had done for that team.
I got to hold on. I'll read off the one.
He's made the defense play better because they haven't been on the field as much. He's bailed the Eagles' offense out because they were one of the highest converted on third downs, right? But they were one of the lowest at being third and long. I mean, you don't want to have your team going 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, but him being able to break out, scramble, throw the passes down the field, and just make unbelievable plays. Look at that play when he was getting tackled almost to the ground and he threw a 45-yard pass. I mean, you can't teach that. That's just pure talent right there. Unbelievable.
All right, so here was the one that got me. To tell you the truth, Foles has a better arm and deep ball than Wentz. Why are people filling themselves with all this hope?
I don't know. I really can't tell you. They've obviously seemed to think since Nick Foles went 27-2 5 years ago against a horrific freaking and remember he threw 7 touchdowns against that horrific defense that he played.
Yeah.
And he's able to lead this team to the promised land. Does he know the West Coast offense? Yeah. He played under Andy Reid. He played with Andy Reid, which is what Coach Doug Peterson uses. It's the West Coast offense. He made the one pass. One pass.
Little spread, couple different offenses mixed together. Yeah, he made that one pass, and a lot of people are convinced because he made a 3rd and 8 that he'll be okay.
Well,
I mean, listen. He's going to do a solid job, but you know what I'm afraid what's going to happen? I already know that the Eagles are going to win their last 3 games. I already know this. Despite whether Carson Wentz plays or not, I know that they're going to win their next 3. Mm-hmm. And what's going to happen is the fans are going to get filled with hope again. I already know what's happening. It's happening before I already know what's going to happen.
Knocked out in the first round.
So I'm going to hear it from the people after the Eagles beat the Giants 38-3 and Foles throws 3 or 4 touchdowns. They're going to be like, see, Nick Foles, Nicky franchise, we're going to the Super Bowl. And it's going to start again.
Dak Prescott threw 3 touchdowns against the Giants defense. That should just show you how bad that Giants defense is. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. They made Rod Smith look like Barry Sanders out there. Freaking Rod Smith. Come on. No, it's not going to happen. They're going to get a first-round bye, and they're going to get knocked out. It's just what's going to happen. I hate to say it.
Depending on the matchups, we'll see who they play, but it's not. This is gut wrenching, man. It's just because you got to think about it this way. So Wentz leads the NFL in 3rd down.
Mm-hmm.
He also leads everything in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got about 5 scoring drives a game. And when you have Wentz as your quarterback, he's getting 4 to 5 touchdowns a game.
Easy.
Leading the offense. With Nick Foles, are you really expecting him to just come in here and just do the same shit that Wentz did? It's just not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
So when you're scoring 31 to 35 points at Wentz, now all of a sudden that number is going to go down to 20 to 23.
I'd even say 17, man. I think you're going to get a heavy dose of Blunt and JHI, you're going to get a lot of crossing routes, I think. You're going to get a lot of screen passes with Foles in there. I don't think you're going to see a lot of deep passes just because he's not mobile like Carson Wentz was, so you got to gear that back too. We have Vitae as our left tackle still, so you're not going to have a pocket back there to be able to sit down there. And Fultz doesn't just have the reaction time that Wentz does. It's a huge drop-off from Wentz to Foles. He's a good backup, don't get me wrong. He's a solid backup. You have an MVP candidate we're talking about.
He was an MVP, like, for God's sakes. And we're trying to muster up these scenarios, and it's just like, despite what reality is telling us, we're still trying to create hope. So.
Imagine that. It's like if Russell Wilson went out for the Seahawks, it's like saying Tavares Jackson or Matt Flynn's going to come in there and lead them to the promised land. That's exactly what that is. You're going to take the entire team, and it's just going to be gone. Now, I think that there's more to the Eagles offense than what the Seahawks have, but that's the type of caliber player I think that, Carson Wentz is. And you're going to see a lot of teams load up on the box when they know you're going to run the ball. They just know it. So it's going to be on the arm of this kid.
Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like the Eagles average, 4.6 or 4.7 yards per carry. I wonder if they're still going to be as effective running the football with a different quarterback now. Because it's not necessarily going to be, the same thing. I don't know if it's going to be. So
it won't, and it's going to be a lot more stress on the defense. Do you agree with me that the defense had a lot easier with Carson Wentz being the quarterback? They were a lot more well rested. They could kind of just sit back, turn their ears back, and go after the quarterback, just let loose. But now I think they're just going to be a lot more pressure on them. They're going to be out there a lot more.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a lot different scenario with Nick Foles. It's going to be a lot of stress on that defense, and it's going to be a test to see if they can carry this team. It's going to have to be the defense that wins this and takes this team to the Super Bowl, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's the thing is the defense isn't Super Bowl elite.
Nope.
All right, Sean, and I don't know. I guess he's joking around. We're going to the Super Bowl, Fed Q. Relax. Trust me, have I ever deceived you guys? I don't live in reality, Fed Q. We're going to Minnesota in February.
Oh man, how awesome would that be? Almost, man. If Wentzers didn't go down, would have been a shoe-in.
Hey, listen, if whatever happens, I'm not gonna sit here and think that we're going to the Super Bowl, because I'm not. I'm just gonna enjoy it. And hey, if they wind up pulling off some miracle, at least I'm not creating false hope within myself and gonna get let down if we lose.
Sure.
So there's going to be no letdown for me. I've already grieved. I've gone through the 6 stages. I've gone through it all. I've gone through it.
So you got to do low expectations from here on out.
Yeah.
Very low expectations.
They've been tempered. They've been tempered dramatically.
Oh, man.
But, what are you going to do?
You can't do nothing. Next man up.
Yeah. Fuck, I hate that phrase now. Fucking next man up.
It's a shame. It's the truth, and this is going to be a real test to see if Doug Peterson is the coach of the year candidate, if this is really going to be – because this is going to put him to –
I got this one guy that, thinks, Wentz is overrated, and it's, all Doug Peterson. We're about to find out, buddy.
Stop. Are you kidding me? Wait, do these people not watch the game?
Well, this guy thinks I know nothing about football, and I don't know. He says a lot of weird shit.
Oh, man, that's like saying Tom Brady isn't talented, and it's all because of –
He's got this theory that, coaching is everything, And, yeah, it's not everything.
No, you got to have talent. You can't just have a coach that's going to turn some.
The guy thinks Aaron Rodgers is overrated because.
Oh my God!
Mike McCarthy.
What? I guarantee you, if you had freaking Jason Garrett coaching that team out there, he would still look the same. Aaron Rodgers is an unbelievable talent. We've been blessed to have so many great quarterbacks in our league. You know, I don't think they had this during the 80s and the 90s. This quarterback play, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Carson Wentz, Drew Brees. I mean, look at all these Hall of Fame quarterbacks we've been blessed with watching.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning. God, how can I forget about Peyton? It's just incredible.
Yeah.
But Aaron Rodgers is a phenomenal talent. And the Niners really screwed up passing on him for show.
We did. All right. That's it.
Yeah, that was just a random ramble about football on a baseball show.
10 minutes on random Wentz talk. I don't even know how that started. It happened. It's over. I've gone through my 6 stages of grief. And now at this point, everything at this point is just going to be gravy. If they win a playoff game, awesome.
Awesome.
I'm not expecting Super Bowl like some people.
Hey, at the beginning of the season, we didn't expect the Eagles to be 11-2 either. So this has all been a treat.
Yeah, it's very true. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So, all right, that's it for the Phillies / Eagles talk for today. That's Kyle Gaffner. I am Adrian Fedke. We're out.
Peace.
At least I'm done crying.
It's more of a